Welcome back, baseball fans, to the 69, 70, 71, 72 Carryover League. We are in the 1971 box, and we are going to be moving into the National League today. And we'll start with the National League East. That brings us to Atlanta, Florida, the Mets and the Phillies. Let's start with the expansion team again, Florida. They lose from 84. Alan Ashby, Pedro Guerrero, Mickey Hatcher, Jeff Leonard, Craig Reynolds, Rafael Santana, Dan Schatzeder, and Tom Bergmeyer. In this expansion draft, the expansion teams didn't get the full allotment of 20 players, so the farm system isn't quite as deep. Looking at the 69 guys who are here, they should include Manny Mota, Chico Ruiz, if there is one. Sometimes the guy doesn't exist anymore. Chico Simone and Ken Suarez, Casey Cox, and Dave Leonard. And from 70, it's Vic Davalillo, Wade Blasingame, and Sandy Vance and Tom Bergmeyer. So first of all, let's see if any of these players look significantly better that would help an expansion team. Mota's about the same. Salmon's worse. Suarez is worse. Casey Cox looks like he's probably worse. Yeah. Davalillo about the same. No biggie. Blasingame, nothing special there. Bergmeyer is better as a closer here in 71 with a .174 ERA, so that's definitely a possibility. I think these expansion teams are kind of going to go all in on improving the 12 guys they presently have as the first order of business if there isn't sufficient guys in the box to draft from. And that would be these guys in the box to draft from. Starting with Jose Pagan. We've seen 2 years of Pagan already, and we like both years. In the third year of Pagan, not so much. We've seen Roger Repose, and now, if you add the on base and power, this might be, it's a deceiving 199 because he has 60 walks and 300 at bats. Though he's better lefty-lefty, so I doubt he'll make it. Kilkenny again, but we liked him earlier as well. So it could very well be that Florida decides to exercise the option to improve, cost them a draft pick, but they get Tom Bergmeyer as an exceptional closer, particularly after losing Ernie Camacho. So I'll move Bergmeyer to the front here. Next team is going to be the Atlanta Braves. The Braves, wow, they lose Tim Corcoran, Dale Murphy, Steve Nicosia, Jim Rice, Rick Mahler, Rick Honeycutt, Gene Garber, and Steve Bedrosian. And in their 69, they would have, of course, Hank Aaron, Rico Carty. Where's old Rico at? I can't find Rico anymore. Okay, keep going here. Sonny Jackson, Phil Negro, George Stone, Paul Doyle. I don't see Paul Doyle. And 70, it'd be Clete Boyer. Don't see him. Orlando Cepeda, Jack Hyatt, and Pat Jarvis. All right. And the first step, of course, do any of these guys want to be improved internally? Hank Aaron, well, yeah, he's amazing pretty much in any year. So there's no, yeah, just amazing player. It doesn't, but they'll keep the one they have. Sonny Jackson, no real significant improvement. Phil Negro, good year, but he already has a good year. No significant improvement. Stone, he also has, I mean, it's pretty much status quo for all these guys. Orlando Cepeda, actually, he's a little worse. His defense is a little worse. He doesn't hit righties as well. And Jack Hyatt's a little better, but again, he's just a marginal catcher anyway. Pat Jarvis is going to be worse. So nothing there. So now we have to look at their farm system. And here's Darrell Evans. He will eventually hit 41 homers for this team. Here he's a .242 hitter. Tom Kelly, a righty, susceptible to lefties though, with a 2.96 ERA. He is an option, though he does put a lot of lefties on base. So here is your guy though. This is the dude right here, Ralph Garr. This is going to be 320, 330, 343 hitter to go with a 342 hitting Rico Carty. So, and you're going to trade for Dusty Baker as well to replace Dale Murphy. Is there a spot for Ralph Garr in this lineup? They lose Jim Rice in left field and Tim Corcoran in left field, first base. Yeah, so Garr replaces both of those guys with the DH being the full-time Rico Carty. So imagine having Carty at DH, Ralph Garr, Dusty Baker, and Hank Aaron. So that's the order of business there. Next up, Earl Williams. Well, there's your new catcher. He had 33 home runs. We could probably stop right there. We have to continue to look though. I'm going to move these two guys to the top. Garr and Earl Williams. We saw Evans and Kelly. Mike Lum's a pretty good baseball player. 269. Cecil Upshaw, not so much. Good ERA, but a lot of men on base. Mike McQueen's a pretty good reliever, relief starter. 354. Skill Gerardo's not bad either. Steve Barber, I don't think so. And Bob Pretty. So again, I mean, Atlanta will have pretty much it's going to be Garr and Williams as a lock. That's going to make it tough on the Mets in their division. Atlanta with a devastating offense. So it's going to be the Mets pitching versus Atlanta's hitting. Let's take a look at the Mets. They lose Hubie Brooks, Willie Randolph, Darryl Strawberry, plus most of their pitching. They lose Dwight Gooden, Sid Fernandez, Brent Gaff, Neil Allen, and Doug Corbett. And so from 69, they have Tommy A.G., Pat Corrales, Jerry Grody, Cleon Jones, Tom Seaver, and Jerry Koosman. Look how beat up this Tom Seaver card is. Tom Seaver and Jerry Koosman. In 70, it's Clendenon, Foy, Garrett, and Bud Harrelson. All right, so they're 10 for 10 in the guys on their team. We'll flip over and see who's in their farm system. Okay, so can Ken Singleton, a very young Ken Singleton, outstanding, a lot of on base. He hits 245, but he's got a high on base percentage. He could replace Strawberry in right field for the Mets. Danny Frisella in the bullpen. There's another Danny Frisella we like. This one's got a .198 ERA though. It's pretty good. All right, he gets lefties out. So the Mets are going to have a great bullpen, great starting pitching too, of course. Tim Foley, utility infielder, to replace Willie Randolph. Yeah, that's kind of a sideways move, but he's a better second baseman at this point of his career. He eventually becomes a shortstop. So we have Bob Aspromonte, 225. Don't think so. Dave Marshall, don't think so. Charlie Williams, I don't think so. I mean, it's really not a great bunch of improvement here for the Mets, but Singleton and Frisella would be a nice 1-2 punch. And finally, the Phillies. Trying to crash the party at the top of the National League East if possible. They lose Dave Collins, Von Hayes, Mike Schmidt, Jeff Stone, Ozzie Virgil, John Denny, Jeff Reardon, and they'll bring back Steve Carlton. Okay, so from 69 we have Dick Allen. He should be over here, yeah. Dick Allen, Johnny Callison, Bob Didier, Rick Wise, Grant Jackson, and Bill Wilson. And from 70, it's Terry Harmon, Tony Taylor, Dick Selma. There's no Dick Selma, I guess, in 71. And Joe Horner. then of course they have the rights to Carlton. So let me flip these over. We have a very young Greg Luzinski, who's not an outfielder yet. He's a first baseman. He only had 100 at-bats, but at 300 with 3 home runs. Of course, we have a logjam at first base. Before we, actually, let me go back to looking at these guys again. Dick Allen, no, he's not better. Callison's not better, nor Didier. Rick Wise could be an improvement. 2.88 ERA. If I don't like it who I see in the rest of the 71 box, improving Rick Wise is an option. Grant Jackson, not really. Bill Wilson, that's a great Bill Wilson card. 3.05 ERA. Terry Harmon, Tony Taylor, Joe Horner. So, yeah, 197 for Joe Horner, too. So there are options to improve internally. But as far as the farm system, Luzinski, Tim McCarver, well, you may as well get him here now, since you're going to have lefty in 72, and McCarver's his catcher, and you lose Ozzie Virgil, so that makes some sense. Barry Lersch in the rotation to replace John Denny. We saw him in a previous year as well. 379, that's a good card. Denny Doyle, not good enough hitter. Roger Freed, we see him in the 77 league. Here he is. No. John Vukovic. Boy, this guy was a 1 at third base many, many times. He also did this in 1980, hit about the same. Mike Ryan, a good defensive catcher. Joe Lee, a outfielder against lefties if they need that. Darrell Brandon. Billy Champion. Ken Reynolds. A lot of guys there. We won't do this Carlton because we know we want to do him in 72. He's still good, but of course not nearly as good as he'll be in 72. So, it's looking like it'll be McCarver and maybe Barry Lersch from these Phillies. And that'll do it for the National League East. Thank you for checking these videos out. We'll see you next time.